Mhm. Yeah, I wanted to go back for just a second here
Sure.
to mention a couple things. One of them was, as far as fixing the news, there's a couple things that I like, which is, I like this one app called News Voice, which is, you know, different news headlines are submitted with a little summary, and then down the bottom it'll have all the sources for where the news article came from. It'll say CNN, left wing, Fox News, right wing. It says all the different sources there, which I think is a great way to
Yeah,
just
that's
show different perspectives, or also as far as from news presenters. I like the Hills, Crystal and Sagar, which is she's Crystal Ball is on the left and Sagar in Jetty is on the right. But they do a good job of presenting different news to get together from a fairly balanced way. And so, and also, just podcasts, which is just a great way to, instead of just hearing all these little sound clips of people out of context, you can hear like
yeah.
the whole conversation all together. I think that's why people are flocking to things like the Joe Rogan experience, where they can hear all these different ideas, um, you know, within
Yeah,
within their proper
I think
context.
you're absolutely right. I think we're all kind of woken up and sick of this.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's like I don't know. I talk to a lot of people. We can tell that the news isn't right. You may
Mm-hmm.
not know the solution to fix it, but I think that's the first step in fixing any of these problems is for us all to know the wrongness. You can't fix something if you don't know what's wrong. You know what I mean? And if we know something's wrong, you, me, put a bunch of smart people in the room and democratize it, put everybody to vote on and figure this out. We'll come up with a million ideas on how to fix this, and it'll boil down to 5 or 10. Maybe it's not just one news organization. Maybe it's 3. You know, I hate this idea that news somehow is biased, conservative, or that's not news to me. It's like, if you're lying or manipulating the facts or hiding and shading and massaging or whatever you're doing to portray it as a right or left issue, I think that's half our problem right there. It's like, things happen. This is what happened. That's news. It's not, this is what happened. The horrible Democrats today did, whatever, the QAnon Republican Party, it's like these hateful phrases are used over and over. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just I'm so tired of this whole, like, we're all a bunch of sheep. We must manipulate them. We must whip them and doing what we want. It's like, who are these leaders? I want to say to you guys, if you want to really gain power, if anybody can hear me that has massive power, we can fix this whole world in a matter of weeks and days. I mean, there are a billion people, we're connected, billions of people connected like we've never been before. There's more free money than there is before. You don't need to do this to us. If you want to become really powerful and loved, you will help us instead of trying to put your thumb over us. The most powerful people that are doing the wrongness right now can become some of the best people in the world. It's like, I don't know. It's like, sometimes we have to be burned to learn. Sometimes we have to be shaken to awaken. Sometimes you have to do the wrong before you can do the right. If you're in a position of ultimate power and you're kind of stuck in this corruption, that it's wrong, all this stuff, I'm telling you, there are ways to fix this where you can come out of this and be loved for you exposing the wrongness, for you changing your mind, for you helping us. And it doesn't have to be this way. You can, I think there's this misunderstanding that some leaders have, where they feel like they have to manipulate us to get us to do what they want. And to me, it's like, the complete opposite is true. If you would tell us the truth and show us the way that we can actually fix these things, instead of trying to manipulate us, I believe you'd have a lot more followers. That's what you're saying. People are flocking to these podcasts because they want to hear, they want the truth, for God's sake. I'm so sick of being manipulated and like, oh, the masses must be, handled in this way. It's like, we're people, we're like you and you're like us. The only difference is you have some power. The problems in the world right now, all of them, for the billions of us, are really caused by probably 30 to 50 people. If you think about it, just pick
Sure.
some of the most major leaders of the world and the leaders of a bunch of corporations. It's not that many. You know what I mean? It's really not. And you're like, what is the problem, guys? I mean, seriously, can you not realize
some of these problems are pretty easily fixed?
Well, they are, and it's just because these leaders have this false understanding that it's some type of horrible competition where you must lose for me to win. You know, this zero-sum game mentality. You know, it's like we all lose if any of us lose. You must realize that if anybody on this planet is oppressed and manipulated to the point of hatred and all the rest, it's going to ruin it for the rest of us. I mean, what was it, 5, 10, whatever guys, and took down the towers in those planes? It wasn't an army, it wasn't like 50,000 or 100,000 million people came, and no, it was like a few guys that were pissed off. It's like some guy with a gun, just gonna walk into a room and just destroy everybody's lives. This idea that any of us are independent and, just let everybody do what they want is ridiculous. We're not an island. You're not unto yourself. Okay. We are our brother's keepers. Our brother, if he's going to go astray, you need to stop him. You need to help him. You know what I mean? Don't go and aid him in his corruption. It's like I look at talking with police officers or people in the military. Nobody that I've spoken with wants corrupt officers, right? But everybody, or some of them, know who they are, but they tolerate them because, again, there's this idea of this tribal mentality. You get into it could be, military, police, it could be EMTs, it could be a lot of different intense situations. These people become like your brothers, your family. You've been through so many hardships together. You want to back them up. And if they do things wrong, sometimes you cover it up, oh, dude, don't do that again. They do it again. Oh, it's okay. Keep it quiet. We can't let anybody know. It's the blue line. It's like this happens in faith too. Look at the corruption in the Catholic Church with, the molesting of children. Oh, let's just move the priest. Shh, don't tell anybody. You know what I mean? It's like, no, if you do that, you are literally becoming corrupt. You're helping the corrupt cover up their stuff. You're helping the corrupt do their deeds. If you really want to help the people, you need to help them not become corrupted. You need to help them become better people, right? That's the true line, right? If you help your brothers in arms that are corrupted, all you're doing is spreading corruption, right? And that's like goes against the oath that you take when you join the military, you join the Congress, you take an oath. All of these things are about virtues. It's about, do you, say your name, will you uphold these virtues? And you say, yes. So if you go against that, what happens? That means you are corrupted. And again, this idea of how we become better people, how we fall to the dark side. There's a lot of people in life, evil wins when people do nothing, they do the wrong things. And it's not just, again, people say evil wins when they do nothing. It's not just nothing. It's also when we do the wrong things. There's a lot of good people in life, and most of the horrors in the world have happened. And I want to say this, about every evil that we see that happens in the world are done by people that are thinking they are doing good. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like the people that are blowing themselves up. They thought they were doing good. And, the towers, the Crusades, oh, we're honoring God, slaying all these people in their houses. You know what I mean? It's like, as twisted as it gets, nobody who's doing these mass evils really is thinking they're doing evil, right?
Exactly.
Even, World War II. I mean, you listen to Hitler's speeches. It wasn't like, we're the evil nation, we're going to embrace Satan and what. No, it's we're saving the world and Christ is this. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like when Google's terms of service used to just say, "Don't be evil." It's like nobody thinks that they're evil, so everybody's going to think they're following the rules.
Of course, and that's, like I said, that's how the greatest evils are done. So, the problem with humanity is that we all want to be good, and we think we're good. We think we know the truth because we're kind of like that. We want to be our best, right? It's very hard because, especially if you're not taught properly, to embrace your wrongness. I mean, the only way you can improve yourself is to see what's wrong with you, right? So in the book, I not only go through all that, but I show you how you can do a review of your life. So you can find all these hidden wrongnesses and fix them and all that. But that idea that you could take responsibility for your life to become the best person you can be, as well as to help other people in the way that you interact with them in the society in the right way, is a big deal. You know what I mean? Instead of bullying a kid, what if you backed them up? What if you, hey man, I got your back. You know what I mean? You know how much that would have meant to me as a kid? Just one kid. Hey, shh, don't laugh at him. Let him bleed. You know what I mean? Oh my God. I mean, I think I would have started crying at that moment. In a good way, being somebody who liked you and was helping you instead of just tormenting you all the time. So these little interactions, being polite, helping each other out, all are part of like our grander mission. It's like, if you don't treat other people as you would want to be treated in that situation, and as equals, those two things alone, those are the fourth and fifth law within step 4 of the way. Um, those two things alone can change this world. I mean, George Floyd, it's murder, could never have happened, right? You're not doing that to somebody if you're treating that person as an equal and as you would want to be treated in that situation. The same thing with most of the horrors in our society, with businesses, what they're doing. Respect life, treat others as you would want to be treated, and as equal. Those three things alone. Are we destroying our world? No, we're respecting life. We're taking care of it. If we thrive, we need our world thriving, right? Treating people like, I don't know. It just kind of gets me like there's any question, in religion and in science, we agree that we're one human family, right? In science, it's 99.9% of our genes are the same, our DNA.
Yep.
We can actually trace our ancestors back. Look up genetic Adam and Eve if you want more on this, but two progenitors way back about 150,000 years ago. And then in religion, right? God created everything and everybody. So religion and science agree that we're one human family. So why is it that we are so hateful? And if you, again, it's like with the anti-vax thing, they have legitimate concerns, right? There are some of these vaccines that were tainted. There are some vaccines that maybe shouldn't be given to children's immune systems so quickly. You know what I mean? Like these are legitimate things. Look at the supremacist movements all over the world. You'd have Asian supremacists, white supremacists, Indian supremacists, you name it. There's supremacists everywhere, right? And every time you look at what they're saying, they're afraid. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of times it comes down to fear, and they're losing something, or somebody's taking something from them. And usually behind there's some twisted leader, right? That's like trying to make them and gain power and has some hateful ideology. But when you talk to these people, and I've talked to a number of them, I've talked to some of the most horrible people that most people would say, murderers, gang members, whatever, it doesn't matter. These people are human beings, and they would love their people too. They may be more barbarian level or savage level, in their way they deal with the world. That means them and theirs are all they give a shit about. But it's not like they're not human. And to dismiss them is a disservice to ourselves. We need to help people see, how I said, you can't keep throwing mud and shade on everybody and expect them to listen to you. If I come up to you and say, hey, you stupid, hateful human being, you're so wrong and everything, I want you to sit down and listen to me, and then you're going to be my friend. It's like, what are you saying? You know what I mean? It's like, nobody, if you use violence on somebody, they're gonna not like you for that. You know what I mean? If you throw a bottle at a police officer and you want the police officers to change, it's not really gonna happen. They're gonna be pissed off, right? That you just threw a bottle at me and cracked my head open, and I'm not gonna be listening to you. The same is true with all of us. If I call you names and then say, now let's sit down and be my friend, it's like, are you insane?
That's why I think Daryl Davis has done a lot of good work. He's a black man that for many years he's gone in, he goes into these KKK groups, and he meets these people and he talks with them, and he's ended up converting a lot of them away from white supremacy instead, just by talking with them.
Exactly, and that's what
understanding them, and give them a hug.
Exactly. Most of the time when the biggest problems in the world that I've seen are they're so easy to push over and fix because they're based on falseness. It's like if your whole ideology is based on lies and misunderstandings and manipulations and half truths, you know what I mean? When you're showed the actual truth, it's like it's undeniable. It's like showing somebody that's a slave, you could be free. It's like they're never gonna forget freedom. You know what I mean? It's like, no, it's truth. I want this. So it's like for us as a society with the white supremacists, again, can you not feel sorry for these poor kids that are being raised to hate and feel this fear and be manipulated in this way? Of course, that's where it all starts. And once you can feel sorry for somebody, you can also join with people on both sides, like they're doing, like in I want to say in the Middle East. They're so sick of this war, and I've seen these groups where Palestinians and Jewish people, mostly women, joined together, and they're like, we're sick of this. We just need to have this stop. Well, I want my children, you want your children to grow up in a better world where we're not all this hate and violence and horror and everything else. So how do we fix this? And it's understanding that, again, we're all human. If you can't love every human being on this planet as a baby, just think about it like that. Don't think about the adults when you're having problems with people. Think about it like, okay, what happened to this kid? This poor guy, when he was raised, why did he become a murderer? Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why did he become whatever? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, there are reasons for this. And if we know those reasons, we can fix our society so hopefully they don't happen again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like,